Thank you very much for staying with us. So the Wits University Student Representative Council plans to assist thousands of students facing financial exclusion. So the SRC has raised 5.7 million rand. So this is universities, I'm sure you've seen, have in the past few weeks been marred by protests, students demanding free higher education. The Wits SRC President Mpendulo Mfeka joins me now live. Mr. Mfeka, thank you very much indeed for your time this evening. This is quite something. I remember being out on the streets with you, with students demanding inclusion into these universities. You've started allocating these funds, I understand. How many students will benefit from this?
So we've started allocating funds. Roughly over 300 students will benefit from this on estimate. And there's still a fair majority that still won't benefit from the fund itself.
So I understand NGOs, religious organizations, students as well have also been chipping in to raise the funds. However, as you've indicated, that's nearly not enough to assist the over 6,000 students that are in need of urgent financial assistance. How do you plan to then extend in your call for people to assist with assisting these students?
So we've negotiated with the university and we are yet to get a tangible solution. But it seems our solution as it stands currently is coming largely from civil society, from students themselves, because they've been a major part of the donations that we've received from churches and other religious organizations, from cultural institutions, NGOs, which we will cite in a statement from a few days from now, thanking them for their help. A number of students, I must mention, that will be able to register through our fund, and because of the availability of funds that we've received thus far. I must also mention again that the call for free education is a call that we still mention for, but at the moment we still want to ensure that as many students get into the system, and hence we've been focusing on trying to ensure that this number of students who are at financial risk are registered, and the only means we have has been through this interventionist strategy to raise money. I must mention that we want to thank our donors. We will be citing them in a statement soon. Yeah.
Every year, around about February, we tend to see similar scenes on the streets of areas where universities are situated. Due to this long-standing challenge, a longer-term solution, though, is something that would need to be found for a sustainable student funding model. What shape would you like that to take?
So we would want first the conversation, I think, has already begun in Parliament, because we would have appeared before the Parliamentary Committee of Higher Education, and we made submissions together with Wits University, and they were in conflict because they would have had a different view than us. SABC has also made submissions. We would want a bill that is going to declare free education and legislate it in our country. The conversation needs to start taking a shape that is more legal and that is more legislated than the one of the picket line alone. And I think it should be heard, obviously, at a higher level and at lower levels. It needs to be a conversation that we have across the country. And more than anything, I think student leaders across the country should ensure that they intensify the fight and the protest for free education in our country. But at the same time, we must also be willing to have the conversation in a legislated form.
Yeah. As it stands now, have students suspended their protests?
As it stands currently, students are focusing on getting registered. Saying suspended, I think, is not the right word. Right? Perhaps we can say strategic retreat of some sort to try and ensure that as many students as we can get into the system. Because as you are aware, the academic year is proceeding not only at Wits University but across the country. And if we have those students left behind, in 2 weeks from now, tests and exams will begin and those students will not have registered. So our focus now is to ensure that as many students get into the system. By tomorrow morning, a lot of them will be receiving letters from the SRC awarding them the funding so that they're eligible to register for the academic year of 2021.
Wits SRC President Mpendulo Mfeka, thank you very much for joining us on The Full View here on the SABC News.